أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. What does it truly mean to delegate your religious and spiritual authority to the Shaykh? By the barakah of our Shaykh Quddisa Sirruh. Through our journey with our Shaykh and by his blessing and wisdom, we've come to understand a fundamental truth. In the order of existence, God has made all things appear in spectrums, in varying degrees of quality and nature. This applies to all attributes, including those essential to the spiritual path, like purity and knowledge. Indeed, Allah Most High says, "And He has created you in stations." So in everything, God has established a gradation, a hierarchy. This is true for worldly skills and crafts, and it is just as true for religious and spiritual matters. This natural order means there will always be people who are more advanced, more expert in spiritual realities. These individuals, much like specialists in worldly professions, hold real authority in their domain. They have journeyed through and perfected the stations of the spirit, becoming realized and knowledgeable in both the theory and practice of this sacred science. Think of it this way. If you want to learn mathematics, you seek out a math professor and undergo dedicated training to become a mathematician. If you wish to become a carpenter, you apprentice under a master carpenter. Similarly, to purify your spirit and discover your true essence, the natural order guides you to place yourself under the guidance and teachings of a realized spiritual master. This field is no different. Islam itself teaches us the importance of living human intermediaries to understand God's will and to discover the self. The Quran is filled with stories of prophets, the best of guides to God. Even to enter Islam, you must acknowledge not only God's oneness, but also accept Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as your teacher, the messenger of God. This concept of living human guidance is essential, and the generations after the Prophet, peace be upon him, are no exception. Indeed, we are in more need of spiritual guidance than those who lived in his blessed presence, for we are in the end of times. Therefore, on this path, for your own ultimate good, you must delegate your religious and spiritual authority to a living, realized master. It's like when you undergo surgery, you delegate all authority to the surgeon. You become like the patient in the hands of the surgeon, you let go of your own will, you trust the specialist to operate even if you don't understand everything that is happening, and even if there is discomfort during or after. You must set aside what you think you know and not interfere in the delicate operation on the heart that the Shaykh conducts during your spiritual journey. Interfering will only lead to complications. The inner stations of the heart and spirit are hidden from the common believers, an unknown territory for the seeker. You must not impose your own limited understanding on the specialist, the Shaykh, who knows the landscape of that realm intimately. Even if your lower self nafs disagrees with certain practices or you don't immediately see their benefit, if they are ordained by the Shaykh, hasten to apply them. Over time, you will realize their benefit for you. Delegating authority to the Shaykh is a process achieved through companionship and spiritual training. It takes time as the nafs, the intellect, and the diseases of the heart will naturally resist. However, the disciple should never surrender to the temptations and whispers of their lower intellect or ego. Instead, they must continue striving to follow the guidance of the Shaykh until they progress from mere outward following to the annihilation of their darkened self in the Shaykh's luminous attributes and essence. This also means that you must cease to see any religious authority over your heart and your relationship with God in anyone other than your Shaykh. This includes respected scholars and even esoteric masters of the past. Even in the case of the Prophet, peace be upon him, one must refrain from attempting to interpret his guidance directly without going through the Shaykh's understanding and transmission. The disciple must rely solely on the Shaykh's view in matters of religion. One must understand that on their own they are incapable of truly discerning God's will or the appropriate cure for their spiritual ailments due to the influence of the darkness of the veiling world they have been immersed in since birth. Your own interpretations of religious texts, your readings and understandings, must be recognized as veils, clouded by your conditioning darkness. You must stop relying solely on your own understanding or on that of other Muslims outside your Shaykh, and instead focus your mind on letting go of the religious and intellectual methodology that led you nowhere. Turn instead to receiving directly from the living master. And know this, love is the fuel that ignites true receptivity, for it burns away resistance and transforms the Shaykh's disciplining pain into radiant joy. Through this state of receptivity, the station of complete surrender of your perceived authority and love of the guide, the Shaykh will be able to fill your heart and mind with pure knowledge. Gradually, you will learn to truly understand the Quran and Sunnah through his methodology of light. In this way, your inner darkness is deconstructed and the Shaykh reconstructs you in pure light. Consider the example of Prophet Musa or Moses, peace be upon him. Despite being a great prophet and messenger, he surrendered his knowledge and authority to the wali of his time, al-Khidr, in order to receive a higher knowledge hidden from him. If Musa, peace be upon him, did this, then what about us, who are nothing in comparison? This Quranic story teaches indeed that it is for your highest good that you delegate authority to the master. Finally, the disciple must not be selective in their following. The one who picks and chooses, accepting some guidance while rejecting other parts, will bear no fruit on the path. They will not progress spiritually. Instead, they will distance themselves from the Shaykh, for they are subtly placing their lower intellect and ego above his own, seeing deficiency in him and authority in themselves. Such people are not truly people of surrender and love, even if they claim to be. They only lead themselves into deeper obscurity, for they have chosen their own limited mind as the ultimate authority in their spiritual life. This, of course, does not refer to those who sincerely strive to embody the Shaykh's methodology and path, but sometimes succeed and at other times fall short. It takes time to train the self to perfect the Shaykh's guidance and to attain the station of love, something no one has yet achieved in our path, as explicitly stated by Sidi Shaykh. And Allah Most High knows best.